Hi FGBers, and welcome to the feed. This is our new Facebook Live series here at Fairygodboss. We're coming to you live from the New York headquarters. And this is our series in which we really get to elevate and discuss some of the super interesting conversations happening on the Fairygodboss feed and really unpack how they've gotten us thinking. So my name is Liv, I'm the Associate Editor here, and I'm being joined by our co-host today.
Hi, I'm Nina, I'm Head of SEO Content here at Fairygodboss.
She sure is, I can vouch. So yeah, we're today really just going to look at a few of the most popular conversations happening on the Fairygodboss feed, and talk a little bit more deeply about the issues that our community cares about. So without further preamble, let us see what our first conversation today is. Okay, this one is coming from, we have a Fairygodboss group dedicated to career changers. And within that group, Stephanie had a question about working from home and losing your momentum, or around fears of losing your momentum. So Stephanie says, after switching from a career in law to marketing, which is a long story, trust me, I'm sure it is, I now find myself working 100% remotely for the first time in my career. There's a lot I really love about it, no commute, and I'm writing this from my couch in sweats. But there's a part of me that fears my career is going to lose momentum if I'm rarely or never spending time with my boss in person. The quality of my work should speak for itself, but at some point, is my absence going to make me seem dispensable? Woof. So Stephanie, I thought that this was a really good conversation to have with Nina in particular, because Nina works from home 3 days a week usually. For me, myself, I'll take an occasional work from home day, and on such days, I always tell myself that I'm going to schedule 15 minutes to go outside and wave to my neighbors and buy myself some flowers and, I don't know, see the world for 15 minutes, and I never do. So I think for me, this is a two-part question about momentum working from home, both personally, just keeping up your motivation on a day-to-day basis, and then also in the larger context of your company. How do you stay relevant or ensure that you are seen as relevant?
Yeah, so I do work 3 days a week from home, and for me it's calendar blocking. So I actually learned this trick from my sister. So she's worked remote about 6 or 7 years. And that was before I even knew it was a concept. And she puts things on her calendar, like lunches with friends or other appointments that she puts these appointments in her calendar that she can't break because she holds them with other people. It's not just 15 minutes outside by myself or lunch by myself, because then you can work right through that. When you have to meet somebody and you have to leave your house, you actually you'll work up until that point, then go and have whatever break you have, and then come back. And having that when you make a date with somebody, it's much harder to break it. So that's how to structure your day and be motivated. So when you have those built-in breaks, you can work really hard up into them and take your break fully and then work really hard on the other end. And as to staying relevant in your company, schedule a one-on-one time with your boss, either weekly check-ins or making sure that you're a part of every meeting, whether it's through Zoom or Slack or Google Hangouts, making your presence, even if it's video presence, known. And you do have to be proactive if most of your team is not remote. If it's a remote culture, it's obviously a lot easier, but if you're onesie-twosies remote, it's a little harder. Let's see what our other Fairygodboss said, what advice they gave.
Okay, so Focused 695523 says, I've been working from home 100% for 12 years. Wow, and I still haven't mastered it. I start my day like my coworkers do, between 9 to 9:30. I exercise before that time. I think that's really important. I try to do that on my occasional work from home days as well. She also takes lunch like everyone else, and she says that she doesn't miss the office schmoozing, time-wasting gossip. time, which is fair. And that's a valid perk of working from home. So that's what she has to say. Who else do we have here?
So Carrie Stiles also chimed in saying to regularly schedule Skype or Zoom meetings with members of the team. And that's exactly, I totally agree with that. Even if it's just a check-in with like a lateral teammate, doesn't always have to be with your manager, just so you can say like, here's how I can help, this is my ideas. A lot of times people don't know to include you if you're not physically present, especially if the office is really used to people just like grabbing people for meetings and throwing them in a room. You have to make sure you're known.
Yeah, that's really fair. I think also I remember back toward when you had started earlier in your time here, you reached out and set up one-on-one dates with people that were like purely under the auspices of, I want to hear about what motivates you and your career path. And I think that to some degree, it's not just making sure that you're showing an interest in the day-to-day work matters that are unfolding. It's making sure that you're showing yourself as being someone who takes a personal interest in the people you're working with, because I think that is really impactful. And who doesn't want to feel that they're on the receiving end of that energy? So, yeah. Okay, cool. That was a good conversation. Let's see what we have next. Ooh, I'm excited to talk about this
so excited for this one.
Okay.
So Una asked, what was your favorite book in 2019? And she's looking for a good holiday read. And again, what's your favorite book from this year? So we are a lot of book lovers at Fairygodboss. We actually have a book club that started last year, I believe, so almost.
It's been a little while.
Yeah.
And fun aside, it's called Bad Books for Bad People, but then like objectively settling on what constitutes as bad poses some challenges. So now we just read books.
Good books.
But we kept the title because it's a great title.
So, there were so many good ones, but I really liked The Immortalists, which Chloe Benjamin wrote it, and it was, I think, a best book of 2018, so I'm a little bit behind, but it's a novel that follows a family of four after they get their fortune told in the Lower East Side, and it follows them through their lives and what happens to them, and it was just so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love a good New York set story.
And it grows from New York, yeah, because most people move away, but it definitely is rooted in New York, which is really interesting.
Okay, cool. I should add that to my list. Yeah, this was a really popular conversation. A lot of good titles on here. Dana says that she really loved Educated. That's one that we both also really liked. In terms of which one was my favorite this year, I was telling you before that I really liked The Master and Margarita, which was written in 1930s Soviet Russia, and it's this really like magical realism, absurdist tale in which the world is like so insane that it's actually quite sane, which is how I feel about like most things in life. I don't know, it's like the devil shows up, he throws a really great party, it's Moscow, Jesus and Pontius Pilate are there, it's entertaining. So that was one that I really liked. Also, now that I have you here, this was all an elaborate ruse to ask you another favorite book, which I saw Mary also really liked, was Fleischman is in Trouble, Taffy Brodesser Ackner's book. And you hated it.
Oh, don't use those words. I love Taffy. Oh my god, her profiles, if you've never read a celebrity profile, I don't care for celebrity content. She's such a good writer. She writes for the New York Times now. She's on staff. But yeah, I did not enjoy her novel. I didn't.
Yeah, I wanted to ask why.
The way it's told is unique. It's as if someone was being told it, but it's not in the same way. Elizabeth Gilbert in The City of Girls does a similar thing and executes it much better, I would say.
Them's fighting words.
I don't know. I just, I wanted to love it. But
the counter argument for this book, I think, is that it's really heartbreaking in the way that it talks about how every relationship we have We are like constantly trying to put each other in boxes and just not allowing people to like organically be their true selves. And I thought that she wrote that in a really cutting sort of way. It's bleak, but it's funny. That's what I took from it.
Those characters were kind of shallow. They weren't like deep enough.
But that's part of their
Like,
what makes them feel real. They felt real to me
like
because they're so shallow in some respects.
Please chime in on the feed.
Yes,
whether you
do that.
Your favorite book. I actually added a lot of these to my library list, so please chime in and add what you really enjoyed in 2019. Whether you agree or disagree with me and Liv's take on Fleischman's in Trouble.
We had a few people reference Catch and Kill, which is like absolutely on my list, that I feel shame for not having read that. But that is it's written around the journalist who is investigating Harvey Weinstein and Matt Lauer. So we had a few people recommending that. Charlotte says, I love a good mystery and Red Sharp Objects, which was one of our book club books.
Definitely a page turner.
Let's see.
The Sympathizer came up a few times. That is excellent.
The Silent Patient, I'm not familiar with that one, but this, I kind of want to do nothing for the whole week that I'm home for Christmas, but read in my parents' bathtub, so I'm going to be pulling from this list for that. So yeah, okay, awesome.
Enough books, as much as I would love
to continue with that
conversation.
We do have another conversation to unpack, which is about New Year's resolutions. So Jamie says, let's talk New Year's resolutions. What's one resolution you aren't making this year? What's one that you do plan to make? I can start it off with this because I was thinking about this earlier. And for 2019, one of my main resolutions was to allow space for myself to be aimless. I feel like in New York and probably in other spaces as well, you wind up every moment is booked out. You feel the pressure to optimize every moment by filling it up really intentionally. And so I said I was gonna go on walks without a set destination in mind. And this is why I'm not making this resolution again this year, is that it was kind of great, but it was also me in January, February, March, walking through the bitter cold. I don't own a hat also, and I'm just walking around this is great.
Liv has lived in New York for 5 years. It does not have a waterproof coat or a hat.
I'm not gonna argue with that statement. But anyways, I realized that you essentially can't plan to be aimless. That's a little counterintuitive. So that's why I'm not making that resolution this year. Instead, I'm gonna try to just actually let myself be still and see what unfolds, and also elevate my loungewear game.
I love that.
What's yours?
Okay, so last year, I guess, for 2019, I picked a theme. So 2019 was my year of yes to travel. So if anyone asked me to travel or asked me on a trip, I said yes, for almost the most part. So I ended up in Thailand, I ended up in France, Germany, Atlantic City, Philly, St. Louis, Phoenix. I usually don't travel that much, both budget reasons, work reasons, and just I like having a good routine. So I don't think 2020 is going to be the year of yes to travel, so that is a resolution I'm not having. I'm still figuring out my theme, but I do more than resolutions. I track things, so
that checks out with your profession. Yes, okay.
Makes sense. So I made these little index cards for to track when I went to the gym. I had little bubbles to fill in how often, because I was trying to do weightlifting twice a week, cardio / spin a certain number of times, abs at some point, and just the little bubbles really helped. So I'm gonna continue doing that. I need to fill it up, but it's so dumb. But Yeah, and then I think the other thing was just I would go to ecstatic dance once a month, which is like this free-for-all dance thing, and just telling myself I have to do this every month. And I did for a whole year, and a year and 2 months. It's been great.
I still want to go to one of those with you.
We're gonna see what else.
Yeah.
What has been? Ooh, we have some good comments here.
Start with this one from Cassie, who says, oh, wait, that's funny. Cassie is also planning to not travel as much this year. That is not one of her resolutions. I have so many weddings and 30th birthdays and events already taking up my calendar. Woof, it's just not feasible. But on the same note, I want to use my downtime to read more and listen to more podcasts. Any recommendations? Okay, we have one recommendation for sure, which is we just released season 4 of the Fairygodboss radio podcast. So shameless promotion there. But that is one that you should check out, Cassie. I've also really been loving Dolly Parton's America by NPR. Have you been listening
No, I've
to
heard
that
great
one?
things.
Okay,
but
it's worth checking out.
I'm very behind on my podcast game, but I'll be listening to Fairygodboss radio
Yeah,
very soon.
there's so much to consume out there, but you should consume us. So,
Ooh, Stephanie wrote in, she's not making any quantitative resolutions, like I'm going to the gym X times a week, or X amount of money savings. She is going to make healthy lifestyle choices, so physical fitness, gut health, and self-care. I like that. Instead of a resolution, just making smarter choices and maybe questioning every choice to see, like, did it fit within this framework I made for myself? I love this.
I like it, but also no pressure there. Like, I'm going to make smarter choices this year.
I mean, it's a good goal.
Yeah. I think we just have to be easy on ourselves too. This is why I'm trying to not make as many resolutions myself this year, because I think that it's so easy to fall into a space of shaming yourself around.
Make a theme year. Totally.
But themes are fun.
Yeah.
I love theme parties. Like,
It's like an organizing
year.
like,
Awesome.
principle, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I like that. Also, let's see. Angie says that she's no longer resolving to say yes to as many things as she can. There's good that comes from being a yes person, but also a lot of exhaustion. I'm resolving to say no to more things instead. I like that a lot. It's like kind of in keeping with what I was feeling too. And about building boundaries that let yourself know what you can say no to, what you should say no to, just like keeping those boundaries in place. That's always a good thing. So, okay, 2020, wow, new decade, new us. I'm gonna be the same me, no question. But we'll be looking forward to catching up with you all in the new decade. For the next episode of the feed, we'll be back on January 7th. But in the meantime, eat pie and have merry time with your loved ones. And yeah, look forward to catching up with you guys in the new year.